Hey everyone, Dr. Frunkey here with a review and final diagnosis on the Spyderco Native 5 in carbon fiber and S90V. For those of you that follow my channel, perhaps recently you saw my knife surgery video where I put these scales on a paramilitary 2. These are aftermarket scales from a Russian guy by the name of Aramis Akhmedov. Now, say that you want to have scales that are fluted carbon fiber, but you don't want to go to the trouble of buying a knife, ordering custom scales, disassembling it, and putting it back together. Well, Spyderco has you covered in the form of the fluted carbon fiber and S90V Native 5. And so we're going to be talking about this knife. I'm going to feature this knife and a few of my others in a sort of aftermarket customizing video coming up soon. But I wanted to talk about this knife in particular. This knife has a special story to me in the sense that I picked this knife up from the Golden, Colorado, USA Earth factory, as you can see designated right here. I've been to the factory now 2 times, the factory outlet, I should say. I didn't really announce myself. I'm not doing the Nick Shabazz thing where I'm getting in touch with them. I just kind of show up, and I always pick up a knife. And actually, both times I've picked up a Native 5. The first time was the S110V lightweight model, and this time I went with the carbon fiber and S90V version. I really wanted to see what this is like, and the Native is a knife that I think about very fondly because this is a no-nonsense, everyday carry kind of a knife, and I really like it. I want it to be better than maybe it is, and we'll factor that into the final diagnosis here. So let's go ahead and get some vital signs on this guy. If you've ever handled a Native 5, you know that you're working with about 2.5 inches of blade length, of cutting length, about 3 inches of overall blade length, 7 inches overall. You've got a 3.9 inch handle with an effective grip area right at about 4.3 inches right there. On this particular model, it's got contoured and fluted carbon fiber handles with the width coming in at 0.4 inches, so nice and narrow, and the blade stock is 125 thousandths. So this is a knife that is designed ideally for everyday carry and use, that is reflected in the weight. Now, the lightweight version is very light. I don't have the exact spec on here, but take a look at this. In the full carbon fiber spec, this is coming in at 2.7 ounces. So this is a very, very light knife. I'll bring out another couple of knives for a size comparison here. Here's a Spyderco Para 3. So what you can see is you get almost the same amount of blade as you get on the Para 3 with a much more compact handle. Here is a Paramilitary 2 right here. So you can see it's a very, very small knife. How about another couple of smaller knives right here? Here is a ZT0609. And how about another small Spyderco right here? I've got a Spyderco Techno in from my buddy Nico right here. So this is a really nice EDC size, and at 2.7 ounces, very compelling for an everyday carry knife. Let's go ahead and break this guy down anatomically. Up front is a blade done in S90V steel. This is not the version, there is a version that has CPM 154 that is clad over an S90V core. You could technically call that a Sanmai blade, but this one is full S90V, which I think is awesome. One of the things that I love the most about Spyderco is their willingness to use these high-end steels. S90V, in my experience, is an excellent, excellent steel. It takes a very nice edge. I think that it does really well with a toothy edge, and this one came that way. This is a laser edge right here. It is so sharp, it's unbelievable, and cutting through things is just magical with this. This blade is a leaf-shaped blade. It's got a little bit of a top swedge on it, as all natives do, but this is such a nice blade. It's just long enough to really do most of your EDC tasks. It's small, so you're not going to want to use this as a food prep knife because it's a bit too small, but you can do lighter cutting tasks with it in terms of food prep. But in terms of actual cutting use, the way that this thing is designed is actually a compact but also heavy-duty cutter. The way that it's designed with this back lock, it just feels ultra solid. And I know that with this grip that I have, I can actually dig in there with this blade and it is going to work hard and it's going to keep working hard. I love it when they use these high-end steels. It really takes sort of a plain knife up to the upper levels of awesomeness. And they've done it in a beautiful satin finish, which is quite hard to achieve on a hard steel like this. One of the issues that I have with the Native, and this is totally a subjective thing, is that when you get these pretty blades like this, the Native really only opens in a sort of a slow manner with your thumb like this. It's really not able to be spider flicked open, and so you do end up getting some fingerprints on the blade here, and that is totally just me being OCD. That's not an actual issue. That's actually like the way it's designed, but be aware that you're going to get some finger oils on there. If you're a nut about that, perhaps this is not the knife for you. Now let's move back and talk about the pivot. This thing runs on phosphor bronze washers on a standard Spyderco bushing pivot. Really, we should talk about the lockup here. It is a back lock. That is sort of the nature of the Native right there. It is a back lock knife. Now they've come out with some variants like the Lil Native that has a compression lock. I would love to see this with a compression lock because I like the size and I like the ergos. But the back lock is probably the thing that keeps me from truly loving these knives. I really enjoy the size, the weight, the ergos, the blade shape. It's all really nice. But the back lock takes that element of fun out of it. And as a knife guy, I like to have fun with my knives. I like to be able to get a knife that's got a flipper, that flips open, it's got a smooth action. Even on the PM2 and things like that, I'm able to kind of flip it open, flip it closed, kind of have fun with it like that. I can't really do that on the Native right here. And so that's one of the things that you just have to be aware of. This is not going to be the knife to play with, to fidget with all day. So that may be a blessing and a curse. It may be something to think about if you want to give a knife to a non-knife person. Say you want to get a knife for your dad. The Native 5 might be one of those knives because it has a very slow action. It's not dangerous. It takes a very deliberate way to open it and a very deliberate way to close it, and it's got a classic back lock. You know, if he's had a buck 110 in his life, maybe he's familiar with that. So, you know, maybe it fits in that regard. What the back lock really does is it provides a huge amount of strength for such a small knife right here. And so you can use this with reckless abandon. You're really not going to break that lock. It's going to be much stronger than just about anything else out there. It's certainly stronger than a frame lock or a liner lock. You know, I'd be interested to see what the differences are between this and a compression lock, but this is going to be even stronger than that. So moving back to the handles, this is really the showpiece on this knife. This is done with fluted carbon fiber. So let's take a look. This is full thickness carbon fiber, which you can actually see if I show you the spine. You can see the weave of the carbon fiber all the way through. If I open the knife up, I can show you that internally there are no steel liners. You can just see the steel of the back lock there. And then it's done in this beautiful fluted pattern right here. The carbon fiber has nice chatoyance, or the sort of reflectivity and the way that it refracts the light right there. So this is just a lovely, lovely piece. This is really the most upgraded Native that you can get, and it's absolutely awesome. I love the way that this is finished, and it really makes the knife strong and lightweight and beautiful all at the same time. It comes with a standard Spyderco spring clip, which you could replace if you don't like it. I think that it rides a little bit high. There's about that much of the knife sticking out of your pocket. Perhaps a deep carry clip would be nice on this, but it's got just enough of the knife sticking out to pull it out of the pocket, and it's such a lightweight, it clips in very nicely, and it works very well. So what are my thoughts on the Spyderco Native 5 and carbon fiber? What is my final diagnosis? I'm going to call this the ultimate Native. This is the ultimate Native 5. You've got the most high-end steel. I know that they have an S90V version of this, but that only comes with G10 or in the lightweight version. But to have S90V and these beautiful carbon fiber handles, it really just makes this the ultimate Native. So if you're looking for the highest level of Native 5, go and pick this guy up. It is a little bit expensive. This guy runs somewhere in the $230 range, and it's a quite competitive market right at that point. But if you're a Spyderco fanboy, and you love the native series, this is the one to have. If you have only one, this is the one to have. So go ahead and go check this out. Thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel here. Head over to Instagram and check me out at Dr. Frunkey. And as always, guys, take care.